billing integrity tests conducted on mobile data bundles for MTN, Telecel, and AT in Q3 of 2024, it found that 1. All data bundles purchased during the test period were correctly credited and remained intact throughout their validity with no unexpected data loss. 2. Non-expiry data bundles did not expire. And 3. All unused data bundles were rolled over after resubscription. These are the facts from the NCA. The NCA is hereby directed to conduct a billing integrity test for data services and to provide quarterly reports to the ministry starting from Q3. The NCA must check data billing for scenarios involving popular apps and websites. And if operators are found to be billing inaccurately, appropriate sanctions should be applied. In conclusion, I am confident we will see further drops in the actual prices of the data offerings when the Finance Ministry takes action on the tax handles in the sector. I'm continuing my engagement with the Honorable Finance Minister to get his approval for the rationalization of some components in the tax buildup in the sector. If we are able to have a proper rationalization of the taxes, we should see a drop in the almost 39% tax buildup in the price of data in the country. If that drops, we would insist that the telcos pass that on to their customers. Another area I am vigorously pursuing is with the Minister of Energy and Green Transitions and the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. If we are granted a telecom tariff for the sector, it will lead to further price drops for offerings currently available. Because until they give us a telecom tariff, as the mining sector has, the cost of delivering the service will continue to be inhibited. I remain committed to delivering on the mandate of the ministry as entrusted into my care by His Excellency the President. I will continue to engage robustly with stakeholders in the sector to protect their investments in Ghana and make Ghana a friendly destination for investment. But I encourage them to invest more. Ultimately, my heart is with the people of Ghana. I will serve you with heart, with sweat, and with blood. And we will fix the mess that I have inherited in this ministry. So help me God. Thank you for your attention, and God bless our whole nation. And so, I will field questions from the media. If there are any questions that anyone has on the announcements that have been made, I'll be willing and glad to take those questions. I'll take them in batches of 3. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Minister. Afternoon. I want more clarity on the prices for the data packages for cost to them.
Well, that's why I have not done this unilaterally. And that's why for those who have always said, just announce. I'm glad today you have all the 3 CEOs here. And we will not have an instance where you see people either go to court to challenge the directives or go to the electronic tribunal. But we have worked together to get to this point. And that's the value of consultation. They say the patient dog, it's the fattest bone. And once again, I extend my gratitude to the CEOs for the work they have done over the last 4 months with me to get to this place. It's not the end of the journey. There's still a lot more we will do together for the Ghanaian people to make their businesses profitable, but to make data accessible and affordable for the Ghanaian people. So yes, it will come at cost to them, but they also know that they have a responsibility to the Ghanaian people.
Yes, a follow-up. I mean, this one is a good idea, but there's a problem of poor network. You can have 1,000 things, but if you don't have this network, you cannot. I entered the system like twice, access to the internet, and I'll in the building of the communication ministry, and there's no good network.
Well, that's why I just addressed in my address, I spoke specifically to the Telecel intervention that we're making. Apart from the fact that we've offered both Telecel and, maybe because I use their official names, Ghana Telecommunication and Scancom. Scancom is MTN. Ghana Telecommunication is Telecel. We've offered them spectrum. Now, just so that we appreciate what it is, the ability to give you quality of service, the ability for you to be able to stream your data or your videos without them buffering, depends on the amount of bandwidth and spectrum, and the amount of bandwidth, and that also depends on the amount of spectrum that the telecom companies have. I know that both companies, including even AT, have been asking for spectrum for the last 4 years. They've not gotten it. But that's why I said it comes back to diagnosing what the problems are and fixing them. And that's why we're offering spectrum to MTN, we're offering spectrum to Telecel, and both companies, as a sign of their commitment to improving quality of service, have agreed to buy the spectrum that we're offering to them. Spectrum is also not very cheap, I must be honest about that. It's pretty expensive. That gets turned on, immediately they get a spectrum. They need to do investments in their network, they need to bring in new transmitters, they need to bring in new switches, they need to do configuration, and that's why we're giving them up to December. So yes, we will see, but again, in the specific case of Telecel, I again in my speech stated that I had given them approval, I had given the regulator approval this week for them to grant them a connecting entity license so that they can begin to offer improved services using the 2100 megahertz spectrum band that's held by NGIC. That again is policy direction we're giving to allow them to be able to get access immediately to some spectrum that can improve their quality of service. But let me not mince words. 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting in this room with the CEOs and showed the quality of the network and the status of the infrastructure. By end of Q4, the NCA will bring us the quality of service report. We would again show it to the country, and if there are failings anywhere, we would apply sanctions. I hope we don't get there. Next question. Yes. Kindly identify yourself. You can speak, but kindly identify yourself so the room knows who is speaking.
Thank you very much. My name is Samuel. I work with Techfocus 24. I'm wondering why Telecel, AT didn't get some of the spectrum. Maybe I'm managing the account from the ending. Secondly, if I heard you rightly, MTN is supposed to reduce prices by 15%, but the two others are supposed to reduce prices by 10%. I'm a bit confused about how come the SMPs are not reducing prices at a bigger margin than the other two.
All right. I'll start with your last question. I did not say that they should reduce prices. Let's be very clear. My directive is loud and clear. I have not asked them to reduce prices. I have asked them to increase value offerings. They are two different things. And if you again listen to my speech, I said that the committee that had a 14-day mandate identified 3 key areas: value, price, quality of service. So we've not, and I've stated that prices will drop when we see the movement at the finance ministry on the tax handles, and when we see movement at the energy ministry on the telecom tariff. What we are doing as a regulator and as a policy driver right now is on value. We will deal with value and quality of service. Now, why is MTN doing more? Because if you realize, when they were declared SMP about 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020, so 5 years ago, the ministry directed a 15% increase in their effective rates. So basically, we've reversed that. Because if we had done 10%, they would still effectively have been higher than where they were previously. And I'm minded by the fact that today, as a significant market player, whatever we do on that network affects almost 76% of all mobile network users. And so, as a sign of our commitment to understanding and dealing with the challenges Ghanaians are facing at this point in time, we've taken that decision. It means a lot more loss as well, don't forget, for the SMB, because then they are carrying a lot more burden. Because if you give more value, it's cost to the network. So if they are the SMP and you are imposing a certain, in quote, levy of some sort, they should carry more than the other 2 networks. Because if they carry less or the same, then it means that you are not being fair to the other networks that don't have the same market size. And that's why we've created this intentional arbitrage between the reductions. The other question about why AT did not get. Do not forget that AT is a merger between Tigo and Airtel Ghana. and both of them had spectrum holdings which got consolidated. At this point in time, AT is the only company, MNO, that doesn't offer 4G. The ministry is currently in the process of restructuring AT. There's been a public announcement of conversations going on of a possible relationship with a private investor. And so it is important that you consummate that process before you begin the conversation about any spectrum addition, because then the new partners will want to do an assessment of what the asset holdings are today. Those asset holdings should not be fluid relative to spectrum. It should be definite. We finish the negotiations, and then we can always look at what to do for AT. But don't forget that at this point in time, AT belongs to the government of Ghana 100%. And like I keep saying, all options are still on the table for us relative to AT and what we'll do going forward. Thank you. Yes.
Hello, Mr. My name is Parker. I'm a member of your party. Some of the telcos, you know that they give you the right hand and take the left hand. So in this case of reduction, I'm not going to see any increase in the data.
Not all their mobile data services. Not all their mobile data services. Only fixed broadband. Of I think 20 CDs and 30 CDs in some cases. The regulator has been informed, and as the ministry, we have indicated to the regulator to go back to the MNO to have a conversation on the reversal of that increase, because in this day and age, our focus is on reduction. And so the operator and the regulator will have conversations about how to walk back even those 20 and 30 CD increases. And so that should give you assurances that the regulator will not. And again, in my speech, I referenced it when I said that I asked them to do a test of all effective rates, not just data but voice, to ensure that no telco would price above what is permitted or what has been approved by the regulator. When they do the test and it is found that any of the regulators, any of the operators is charging beyond the approved rate, there'll be sanctions for it. And trust me, we will come down hard on that. But so far, in the 4 months I've engaged with the CEOs, I'm sure and confident that they will not act in a manner that is arbitrary and without recourse to the regulator. Any other questions, please? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there are no further questions, I want to thank you, our brothers and sisters from the media, the CEOs, directors, chief director of the ministry, CEOs, the regulator. Thank you very much. God bless you. I'd love to meet the CEOs in my office, so please listen. And then the regulator.